What's up, sellers, and welcome to today's video. In this video, we're kicking off another money-making challenge. Welcome back, guys. You know that here on my channel, I love talking about different ways to make money, strategies, how to move through the market, build a side hustle, build a business, whatever that may be. Not just to talk about how money works, but really give advice and tips and things that I've found that actually make money so that you can live a better lifestyle, accomplish your goals and dreams. Listen, money can't solve all your problems, but money can solve all of your money problems. As long as you only have money problems, you are one of the luckiest and blessed people in the world, because all you got to do is make more money. No big deal. All right, so in this challenge, we're talking about the 15 by 15 challenge. This is something I've been thinking about for probably the past 6 months or so. I've done a $20 to $2,000 challenge. That turned out really great. I had a bunch of people that jumped on board with that and did their own little challenge, doing the same exact thing I was doing. And they built up some capital, some funds. They were able to go out and source and just build a little bit better lifestyle for themselves. Remember, it's not all about getting to the top of the mountain in one day. It's about 1% better every single day. And in 100 days, you'll be 100% better. So, I mean, that's the idea, right? That's the goal. So what we're gonna do here is I'm going to explain to you the 15 by 15 challenge. And basically what the 15 by 15 challenge is simply you take $150. Well, let's just jump into my computer and I'll show you. All right, so here we have the 15 by 15 challenge. The objective is to grow your income. So we're just talking about side hustle income right here, from $150 to several $1,000s over the course of 15 weeks. Through dedication, consistency, and focus. You have to be incredibly dedicated and focused at this. So I'm gonna show you the challenge, I'm gonna brief over it, then I'm gonna go out and source, and I'm gonna spend my $150 to show you what I'm buying in order to flip for this. Let's move down my little list here of things that we're gonna talk about. So how are we doing this? First, we're gonna take $150 to buy inventory. We're gonna clean, photograph, list, sell, and ship all of that inventory within 1 to 2 weeks. That's your choice. I'm personally gonna go a little bit harder at it and say, 5 to 7 days, I want all of that stuff sold. I want it shipped out the door, and that way I can be ready for the next week in order to go. At the same time, you want to give yourself a little bit of leeway, give yourself a little bit of grace, because you may not hit it. Right? We're going into Q4, so I really do believe that you and I are going to have an incredible time selling things and getting this inventory out the door to our buying customers. But if it takes 2 weeks to sell through, that is okay. The goal is 15 weeks. However, if it takes 30 weeks to 1.5 times your money every 2 weeks, that's totally okay. We're about consistency, staying focused, staying driven, and getting to the point where we're just, we're that steam locomotive and nothing is going to stop us. After all fees, shipping, etc., you need to walk away with a minimum increase of 50%. And so with selling shoes, like I sell shoes, I sell tons of shoes. I have hundreds of pairs of shoes in my house that I sell. I buy them for $5 or $6 and then I sell them. Generally, I want to see 4 to 5 times the amount. We're not even asking for that in this challenge. All we're asking for is 1.5 times. If you buy a pair of shoes for $5, get $7.50 into your pocket for those shoes. I don't recommend undercutting other people. Absolutely try to max out the amount of profit you get, because as you move along in the challenge, it's going to get harder and harder to get 1.5 times for the money. Let's move down the list. Example, buy a shirt for $5, sell that shirt. After all fees, shipping, etc., you need to walk away with $7.50. Let me give you an example here. Columbia PFG, which I think is like professional fishing gear or performance fishing gear, long sleeve fishing shirts. You can get them for $4 or $5 at the Goodwill, and they generally sell on eBay for $19 or $20. Now, with that being said, there's some shipping that's got to come out of there. There's, there's the cost of goods. There's the listing fees and selling fees. So after everything's said and done, you can generally walk away with about $10 for that shirt. That's including your cost of goods. So you spent $4 or $5 and you walk away with 10 total. That's perfectly in the parameters of this. Now, those shirts in the wintertime sell a little bit slower. We'll talk about that in a minute. During the summertime, they're great sellers. Let's move down this list here. Next, after that, you're going to take all $7.50 for that one shirt and go sourcing again. We're going to repeat this process over 15 weeks or 30 weeks, depending on how you want to operate your side hustle. Buy something, get 1.5 times for it, and then repeat the process. Remembering though that we're starting out with $150, not $5. Here's the catch. Are you ready? Here's the catch. You can't spend any of the money on anything other than inventory for the challenge until you complete the 15th week or you quit the challenge. How dedicated are you going to be? For myself, I'm going to go super hard at this. I've got enough inventory in my house and enough things to list to last me a while. So basically all of my inventory money is going to go towards this challenge. And then hopefully by the end of the 15 weeks, I will have had time to get everything in my house listed that needs to be listed. And then I can actually start enjoying some of this money. I'm not your dad. I'm not in charge of you. So if you want to bail at any time on this challenge, if you get to $1,000 in a couple of weeks and you want to bail out, totally on you. That's you. I would never judge you for that. I totally understand, like, everyone has their own thing going on. And so if you get to $1,000 and you're like, hey, I need this $1,000 for rent, mortgage, food on the table, you absolutely do you. There's no judgment in this. I am just trying to challenge you, encourage you to grow your income, to grow your inventory sourcing funds. And that is the whole premise behind this. Next, moving down the list here, some ideas for selling your items. Stick to things that you're knowledgeable about. If you're knowledgeable about, like I said, for myself, I sell shoes. I'm knowledgeable about that. I'm going to go there first. Secondly, shirts. I don't know why, but like short sleeve button down shirts, I tend to do well with. Long sleeve fishing shirts by Columbia do really well for me. So I'm going to stick to those things. If you are really knowledgeable in electronics or video games or whatever, stick to what you know. Stick to the things that you're passionate about or that gets you excited. Like shoes get me excited. Some electronics don't really get me excited. And so I'm going to stick to the things that I know. Next, find 1, 2, or even 3 platforms that you can cross-list your items for maximum exposure. I use eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari. They all charge fees. They all charge shipping. However, I'm very, very familiar with them and I can work through them fluidly in order to sell my items. So I will probably stick to those. Just a side note, if you are interested in a cross-listing software, I use Vendoo. It's basically one platform where you upload your photos, you build your listing, and you can shoot it out between several marketplaces. So they have eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, Grailed, and Depop. Currently, they're always working on adding more platforms in. They also have Etsy. They're always working on adding more platforms in. I use 3 of the platforms, and so definitely check that out. There is a link in the description of this video where you can get 25% off your first month, and you kind of build your own package to what you need. I have the Pro package, so I do 600 items per month, and it's just a fresh new 600 items that you get to upload every single month. That works for me. Next, use Facebook Marketplace, Letgo, and OfferUp, or Craigslist, if that's still a thing, to sell items and not have to pay shipping or seller fees. However, there's a catch to this. You will have to use a vehicle and fuel to meet the people that you're selling to. And the little caveat here is you have to have the time to meet the people and you have to be prepared for no-shows. Facebook Marketplace is notorious for no-shows. And so unless you want people coming to your house or your apartment to pick up stuff, which I personally don't do, yeah, that could be kind of iffy because people will just not show up. But the plus side of that is no seller fees and no shipping. So you kind of get to build this whole challenge the way you want to build it. Choose items that have a solid sell-through rate or high liquidity, as you will be able to sell them faster, and in doing so, keep up with the challenge. So with this, just find things that have a really good sell-through rate. 30% is really awesome. 10% I would say would be a minimum. And so what this would be is when you go, for instance, on eBay, if there's 90 shoes listed for sale and 10 have sold, that means it's got a 10% sell-through rate. You add those two numbers together and then you divide that number by the number sold, and that gives you your sell-through rate. So 10 out of 100 is 10%. Now, if you find a shoe that there's only 3 listed and 3 sold, well, 3 out of the 6 total have sold, so that's a 50% sell-through rate. That's really good. Find items that have a solid sell-through rate and high liquidity, meaning you can move them fast. As you move through the challenge and you remain laser focused, you'll begin amassing money, and it will become difficult to spend all of that money on inventory in just 1 week. Congratulations, it's time to graduate to the next level of this journey. And so what I'm saying here is basically you're gonna get to the point where you have $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000 to buy inventory for 1 week. How do you spend all of that? Because remember, it's not just buying inventory, it's bringing it home, processing it, turning it around, selling it. At some point, you might take 3 weeks to get through all of your inventory, and that's totally cool. Adapt as you need to. Don't settle back, don't get lazy, don't throttle back. We're going 100% full force, full charge ahead with this whole thing. But understand, like, don't work yourself to death to where you literally get sick from this. Like, I've done that. It's not the way to do it. But also, you know, once you have $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000, stop thinking about buying individual shoes. Start thinking about hiring someone to help you out, or moving along to the next phase of this whole journey, which is higher end items. So that's the next on our list here. As you rake in those stacks on stacks on stacks, start looking for larger, more expensive items that you can start flipping for that 1.5 times. Example, high-end tools, handbags, cars, recreational vehicles, meaning like RVs or 4-wheelers or canoes, or canoes is like one of my favorite things. So in the middle of winter, right? Depending on where you're at. If you're in San Diego, this doesn't apply to you. Where I'm at, it snows in the middle of winter. And so like literally on the first snowy day of winter, you can go on Craigslist or OfferUp or Let Go, and you can find people selling canoes for $100. Like literally $100, $150, you can pick them up. Then at day 1 of summer, or even like late spring, you can put those same canoes that have been sitting in your garage for a few months, and you can flip them for $400, $500 a piece. Easy money. It's literally, you don't even have to think about it. It just does, it works for itself. It just does the work itself. The only reason I say like people in really tropical areas or nice areas that don't get snow, why this doesn't work for you is because if you live in San Diego, which is where I grew up, you can canoe or kayak all winter long. It never changes. So that is what you would have to do here is, as you make more money, expand, do product research, learn about new things, really get excited about the next level of things. I like flipping cars. There are limits depending on where you live. I can only flip 6 cars per year in Virginia. High-end tools. You can generally go to pawn shops and buy higher end tools, meaning like table saws, high-end hand tools, and that sort of thing, and sell them on Facebook Marketplace for a markup. Not really sure you're gonna hit that 1.5 times. However, if you are selling some of your cheaper items for 2 or 3 times, right? So if you buy a pair of shoes for $5 and sell them for 15 profit, well, now you have 3x on that. So maybe a 1.4x on the tools would kind of balance things out. With these tools, going to pawn shops is great because you can talk to them and be like, hey, if I put together this whole bundle, will you give me 10 or 15% off? And generally, if you're gonna buy a big bulk load from a pawn shop, they're going to give you a discount. You can turn right around and flip that on marketplaces, selling each individual item for your markup. Just remember to do your product research and check those sold filters. Now let's talk the money side of things. This is where it gets exciting. Part of what I'm about to show you here, you're gonna be a little bit skeptical because the money grows so fast because we're not spending any of it. Now, there may get to a point where you need to spend some of it, and that's totally okay. Like I said, no judgment. Give yourself some grace and do things the way you feel like you need to do them. Everyone's situation is different. But I'm just looking at these numbers as if we don't touch a dime except to buy more inventory. As you start out, the $150 will get you a fair amount of inventory. To complete this challenge, you need to come out of the gate swinging and stay steadfast to the end. Here's how the money can grow if you stay absolutely 100% dedicated and reject all excuses. Remember one of my favorite quotes, you can make money or you can make excuses, but you can't make both. All right, so I made a little table here. simple table. Check out that spreadsheet work right there. Incredible. It's got your week number, it's got your start amount, it's got your multiplier, which is 1.5 the entire time, and then your week end. So if you start this week, today's Monday, if you start this week at $150, by the end of the week, you should have 225 in your account. The next week, you start at 225. By the end of that week, you have 338. This goes fast. 338 to 506, it moves on down the line. I will hold this here so you can kind of maybe take a screenshot with your phone or on your computer, whatever you are watching this video on, and you can kind of see it goes from 150, by week 8, you're at $2,500. That's pretty decent considering you started with 150 bucks. By week 12, you're at $12,900. It seems kind of unrealistic, and it might be, but I'm all about unrealistic goals, because the higher you set your goal, even if you miss it, you're going to be so much further along than if you set your realistic goal and hit it. You move down to week 15, you're closing out week 15 with 65K. I don't know if that's really gonna happen. It's up to you. All right, guys, so that is the challenge. I'm headed out right now to go shop for that inventory, and I'm gonna bring it back. In tomorrow's video, I will be showing you what I picked up, and hopefully by the time I show you that, everything will be listed. But I want to say thank you for watching this video, you guys, for sticking around to the end. If you're going to jump in on this challenge, let me know down in the comments. I want to know who is going to be jumping in and competing with this. Let's kick this hashtag off. Let's do hashtag 15x15 challenge. So that's going to be the hashtag on Instagram, where I'm going to be posting my photos of what I'm selling, what I'm flipping, so that you can see what I'm doing. And I would be super pumped, and I would be so happy to share your Instagram stories and share your Instagram posts whenever you hashtag it with this hashtag. So with that being said, thanks for watching. I hope you got massive value out of it. Be sure to leave a like if you did like it and if you're going to compete in the challenge. And then if you're not already subscribed, consider subscribing. And as always, keep selling, get the bag, and I'll see you on tomorrow's video, which will be all the stuff we get today.